Hello, today is February 20th, 2020. I'm Jeffrey Tennant. We have an interview with Norm Winski. He has his own unique approach to analyzing stocks and commodities too. He's going to tell you all about it, and I'm going to turn the mic over to him. Norm, it's all yours.
Thank you, Jeff. Just thought I might mention, give me a little background of who I am. Been studying the markets for over 50 years, including 12 years as a Chicago floor trader. This is all I know. This is what I've been doing my entire adult life. So I stumbled on the astrology back in college. I invested successfully in college and added to my pile there and stumbled on buying a membership on the Chicago Board Options Exchange in 1975. And that's how I ended up in Chicago as a floor trader. And now we're going to fast forward to how things have evolved since then. So I correlate the planetary cycles to the different markets. Now February has been a very unusual month in that we had some of my top planetary cycles all come together, multiple top cycles all pushed together in the month of February. Very unusual. One of my top cycles is when as the planets go around the sun like horses on a carousel. They also oscillate up and down, and when they get to their midpoint at zero latitude, that tends to be a very powerful energy point, as you will see when I show you some of these charts. So we had, for example, I was here 2 weeks ago, and we showed you these points, I believe, and we had Mercury that night going at zero north latitude. That has to do with your grains. We had a full moon that weekend, and that has to do with lots of markets. So you want to pay attention to the full moon, new moon. That's your financials, grains, precious metals, stocks, gold, and OJ if it's in Leo. And then we had Saturn at zero south latitude on the 12th. And that has to do with coffee against stocks. The stocks are the big basket of everything. They tend to respond to all these cycles. As Mars goes around in a 2-year cycle, it changes signs about every 5 weeks. And on the weekend of the 14th, we had Mars go into the sign Capricorn, and that is also coffee. Coffee is one of my top markets of the month for February. And then we had Venus over that weekend get to zero latitude. That was cattle, copper, cotton, stock, sugar, wheat. And then we had the moon's north node. Then we have something called a natal chart. Take a snapshot of where the planets are when something important began, like when the U.S. began, and compare the planets now to those planets, and so forth. And then another big thing is when the planets, due to the role of the motion of the Earth, go what's called direct or retrograde. They look like, from Earth, they look like they've stopped their motion and then change direction. And when the planets change their trend, the markets change their trend. So I'm going to step through. We have a limited amount of time. Jeff wants me to focus on the stocks. I'm just going to talk about a couple of commodities here. Look at this coffee now. I mentioned the 12th, Saturn at zero. There's a big point here for the coffee on the 12th. The coffee had a little pullback there and zipped up 10 handles. That's $3,750 in about 2 to 3 trading days. Then our next point was over the 14th weekend, so on the opening there, you'd be looking to get out of your long and go short, and it dropped then about 4 handles. So that's another couple $1,000. So you have that's like $6,000, $7,000 in just about 3 trading days in coffee. Fantastic, huh? All right, now we're going to zip ahead there now. Look at just a couple more. Let's see. Oh, gold. Everybody likes to follow gold, I think. Here's your full moon, and they nailed a little short-term top there in the gold. Now, here's another technical principle. When you take out one of these cycle tops or bottoms, that's an indication for a much bigger move. So here you have a little trend line there going down for the gold. And when you took out that top there over the weekend of the 7th, that indicated much higher prices. And you might notice today, gold just broke out to new multi-week, multi-month highs. You know, upwards. I looked a little while ago. I think it was about 1622 on the gold. All right, there we go. We're going to zip ahead here now. Here's your S&P. Okay, so here's the different points I had for the S&P. We had this top little Mercury point here, and that was a top. And we came in over the 7th weekend with the full moon. That was a low. And then we had the 12th, which was both kind of a high and a low. We made a top earlier in the day going into the 12th, and then we made a bottom, and we came in on the opening of the 13th. And then we had a big multi-signal there for the weekend of the 14th, and that we gapped down there, I believe, and we made a low there on the 18th. And we rallied up to new all-time highs here in a day or two ago. And that all these charts are as of the previous night. So there you go. Bonds made a top there on the full moon on the weekend of the 7th, and so forth. You might be watching the currencies. It's the currencies are making big moves here. The dollar's at near, getting near 100. The yen is in a free fall. There people are concerned about a recession in Japan. Here, wheat did very nicely near the top there on the wheat with the full moon. And we went down here to Mercury is grains. Mercury went retrograde there on the weekend of the 14th. Here's a neat thing here. Here's the British pound. Went down to make a low on the full moon and had a nice bounce after the full moon. Now we're going to look at the stock market, my longer term forecast. Like for the month of February, I do these every month. In a couple weeks in advance. There's the blue line. I try add up the planets and project this blue line here. And then as we go, I overlay the S&P 10-minute bar chart. And you can see there that that's working out up until today. It was working out pretty well. Now we have to watch these red arrow points here. These are various planetary points that could invert this line. So, this is just one model that I have, trying to keep it simple for you. But we're coming into a new moon here, so if we get to some extreme here into the weekend, we're going to be looking for some important change in trend. Also, Jupiter's going to hit another one of these 0 latitude points, and that's going to be Monday night. So we got a big window coming up here over the next several days. All right, here's what's coming up here now. We got the coming events. Jupiter's line. This was today. This morning we had Jupiter lining up with Saturn, and I'm going to show you the intraday chart here in a minute. And that's coffee and stocks. We'll just look at the stock market though. Jupiter and Neptune made a key angle there at 60 degrees, and we're going to be looking at the stock market for that. Jupiter lined up with Saturn, and also coffee stocks. We got a big point coming up here over the weekend. Saturn's going to line up with where Pluto was on July the 4th, 1776. That's a 30-year cycle. That could be huge for your U.S. financials. And then, of course, we got the new moon over the weekend at Pisces, so that's also in addition to your financials, grains, precious metals, stocks, gold, and OJ is also oil because it's in Pisces. And then we got Monday night, we got Jupiter at 0 south latitude, is one of my top things. And so you want to be looking for a big change of trend right around there, right around Monday. After Monday, we kind of go a whole week with not much happening. So that indicates we could get a big trend starting about Monday night, Tuesday for the rest of the next week into the weekend. And then we have Jupiter going to line up with Pluto, and then that would also be your cocoa, coffee, hog stocks, and teapots. So let's take a look now at the intraday stuff. Jeff has had this now. If I drop my mouse, I'll be back in 10 seconds here, so I grab my mouse. Okay. Where'd it go? Oh, there we go. I lost my place. All right, there we go. We got these key times here, planetary events, moon events. We had some really big cycles, as I indicated earlier, during the course of the day. Jupiter takes 11.5 years to go around, just to give you some perspective. Saturn takes 29.5 years to go around. So when these things line up together, it's huge. It's like big ships crossing in the ocean or something, So we're going to take a look at these times here in a minute. There you go, Jupiter and Saturn. Oh, look at that, 11:33. Keep that in mind. In 10:56, we'll be looking at those in a minute. And there we go. So I have these intraday times. Jeff's had these. I send these out a month at a time. I got tomorrow. I got the whole rest of the month, and so forth. So you have these times. We have rules for trading these times, and so forth. So let's go look at the S&P Mini now. I'll put that up on the screen. All right. One of our times we had today was 10:56. That's Jupiter. 60 degrees of Neptune. All right, now the theme today was I was off a couple of minutes, and that meant that I didn't make money on these, but it certainly is interesting. We got these huge cycles, and they were off by just a couple of minutes there. We market top there at 53 after the hour. 54, I had 10:56. As you can see there on the page right there, I was off by 3 minutes, and that meant that I didn't do that trade. But you can see what happened there. We made a huge top there. And then we went into free fall, and guess what the low was? Let's look at one of our next top. Oops, wrong. There we go. There we go. Our next thing is 10:33. What was the low? The low was, I'm off a minute, 10:32. And as you know, Jeff, the volatility was crazy there. And so I took a pass on that because it was just too much risk. I didn't want to risk 6 handles. I usually risk 2 handles. And so I took a pass on it. The fact that these long-term cycles Oklahoma. They're within 1 minute of the low of the day. That's pretty interesting, I think, you know.
Well, I can verify you gave me this the beginning of the month, and to come within a minute or two that far in advance, that's really incredible stuff.
I think so. I'll show you where we did make some money toward the end of the very last one of the day. We had there 3:42. Moon was lined up with Pluto, and I like the joke. Yeah, I like to make fun of those people that said Pluto's not a planet, and they make fun of Pluto and they downgraded Pluto. Well, let's see what happened there. Okay, I'm going to fast forward now to the end of the day. 3:42. Okay, I apologize for the delay. 3:42. Let's go find 3:42 right up here. All right, if we're going up, I'm inclined, my rules say you should sell. You go down, you buy. We're going up, we sell. You just would have sold our official price as the closing price of the box there, $33.71.50. I use a two-handle stop loss. We did not get stopped out, and that would have been 73.25. We missed getting stopped out, and then it went to dropped. I have an 8-minute time limit, so you were looking to get out after about 8 minutes, or you could, I have a couple of options on how to manage the trade. Or you could draw a trend line there, and you would have gotten out about the same time, about 8 minutes, and you would have made about 3 handles or $150 in 8 minutes. This is not too bad.
Norm, you have around a minute or two left.
What's that again? Oh, we got. Well, okay, very good. So, yep. So let's move on to how you can get a hold of me now. I got free. I teach you my day trading system for free, or I teach you the swing trading system, whatever you like. And get a hold of me here. I'm right temporarily, I guess, Jeff's neighbor here in sunny Naples, Florida, at 239-594-3939. There's my email, and Winski at embark, EMBARQMAIL.com. Please contact me at that email address, not another one. And my Skype is NWINSKI_1. Looking forward to helping some of your folks there, Jeff.
Terrific. Now you've told everybody where I've retired to, but that's all right. And anyway, Naples is a beautiful place. That's really great stuff. We'll see how it turns out. And so you think this could be a major change in market trend also, huh?
Right. Well, my major change in trend could be just a few days. You know, we've had some wild whipsaws here, which is what I promised when I was on before. I said, with all these huge cycles hitting, I thought we were going to have a big whipsaw month. I think that's what we've had so far, right?
I can't argue with that. That's pretty remarkable stuff. Okay, my software is just about timing out. Norm, thanks ever so much, and we'll post this and hope you get some more calls.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay, goodbye, folks.